y'all. Welcome to the Honest to Goodness podcast,
where we give you our honest opinions
on good entertainment. I'm Morgan.
I'm Kerri.
I'm Nicole. And without further ado, here's today's episode. We hope you enjoy. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Honest to Goodness podcast. I'm your host, Nicole, joined by my wonderful co-host, Kerri, to talk about Lifetime's original Christmas movie from 2022, Baking All the Way, starring Yannick Bissot and Corey Lee.
Yes, I loved seeing Corey in this because we saw her, was it Up TV, that Christmas Masquerade?
I think so.
She was playing like a best friend, and then to see her in a leading role. And then, of course, you and I know Yannick from Sue Thomas FBI and Aurora Tea Garden.
Yep.
So I was super excited to see him in this. I have not seen Murdoch Mysteries. I feel terrible. It's on my list. I do want to see it. I'll have to get to the library at some point. But I love this movie. I thought it was so cute.
Yeah. And I also have to mention, we know Corey Lee from My Grown Up Christmas List. She played Taylor's best friend.
Okay.
I'm blanking on her character's name for some apparent reason.
It has been so long since My Grown Up Christmas List. I did not remember that. So thank you for that info.
You're welcome.
My brain, we had this conversation right before we got started. My brain cannot remember 5 minutes ago, much less.
We're still catching up with the Christmas movies, but I think as far as this podcast goes, we are all caught up.
Yep, with this episode. And then tomorrow we will have an episode airing with some honorable mentions, just talking about, because there were so many great movies this year, and there's just no way that we could cover all of them in depth. I mean, y'all know we've been releasing several episodes a week at times, trying to keep halfway caught up. But so we'll be discussing some of those, but
not the case on Swing My Heart podcast. We're still way behind.
You'll get there. Oh man, hang in there. And then after these 2 episodes, we are done with on Honest to Goodness. We are done with the Christmas 2022 Christmas movies, and we will be moving on to the Wedding Veil movies, finally recapping the second and third Wedding Veil movies, and then the new one that will come out on January the 7th. We're recording this
Saturday.
Yeah, so it's coming out this weekend, so we're excited to see it. But yes. You know, I didn't really watch many, heck, I did good to watch as many Hallmark movies as I did this year. I didn't really watch many of the Up TV or Lifetime.
I didn't either.
I was glad I took the time to watch this one, though.
There were only a couple Up TV and Lifetime movies that I really liked this year.
Yeah. I think this might have been the only Lifetime one that I've watched so far.
I watched Brittany Bristow's, which we'll talk about in our honorable mentions episode, or I'll mention it because I really liked it. It was cute.
Yeah, I don't honestly remember. Listen, y'all, I had to make notes for honorable mentions to remind me which movies I've even watched, because aside from a few that just like really, really, really stood out to me, I'm telling y'all, my brain cannot hold on to anything anymore. So, I mean, Nicole, we were in a conversation the other day, and she was like, "Oh, you really liked this movie?" And I'm thinking, I don't even remember watching it. And then when I went back and looked at the synopsis, I was like, "Oh, yes, I did. I love this movie." And I'm like, yeah, I need help. Oh my gosh.
I need some help over on Swing My Heart podcast. Please, I'm desperate. I'm just kidding. I'm politely desperate.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'll come help you with anything I can.
Yes.
So.
I know you will. Yeah.
But shall we jump into it for
Yes.
Baking All the Way?
Yes.
Awesome. This movie stars, as we said, Yannick Basso and Corey Lee. And Corey is playing the character of Julia Wilson, who is a pastry chef.
Yep.
And has a restaurant in Chicago, Illinois. I've never been in Illinois.
I haven't either, let alone Chicago. But I know that Rama Drama just had their Christmas event a month ago in Chicago at the historic Drake Hotel. And I heard it was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I know all the videos and stuff were super fun.
I am counting down for Rama Drama 2023, anxiously awaiting the announcement of where it is going to be. Hey, that kind of rhymed.
Yes.
2023, where it's going to be.
Yeah, if they'll get that information to us, we're excited. But
anyway, sorry.
No, you're good. So we have Julia in search of the perfect gingerbread recipe to finish off her newest cookbook. She's looking for a gingerbread cookie that tastes like the cookies that she baked with her mom when she was little. She is striking out, reaching out to more companies and stuff. So she decides to accept submissions from the public. And she gets a submission from Homestead Baked Goods in Hampton Grove, Wisconsin, 2 hours from Chicago. So her chef, AJ, convinces her to go in person to talk to this guy. And she shows up, and Chris Thompson has no idea what she's talking about. Can you say awkward?
Awkward. Yeah.
How adorable was his daughter, though, Abby?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
that little girl did an excellent job.
Yes, she did.
She really did. So Chris does not really want to share his recipe with her. But Julie comes back the next day, and she is talking to Chris, trying to convince him, and she finds out that the bakery is in financial trouble due to the new bakery in town.
Yep.
And Chris agrees to give her the recipe if she can increase their sales by 50% before Christmas.
Yep.
I loved the dynamic of Chris and his mom's interactions, but I love when Chris says, "You sure you two," talking to his mom and his daughter, "you sure you two don't know who sent those cookies?" His mom says, "With all due respect, honey, those cookies are our best sellers. It could have been anybody in Hampton Grove who sent them." And his daughter said, "I don't know how to send a package. How many stamps does that even take?" Like, both of them just acting so innocent.
Yeah. They should ask the postables how many stamps it takes. I couldn't resist. I could not resist.
I love it. Yeah, I was telling you, I had never watched You've Got Mail before, and a friend of mine loaned it to me. I've seen the original Shop Around the Corner and the remake in the good old summertime, but I'd never seen You Got Mail. They're all pretty much the same thing. You've Got Mail is just a more modern, not quite as clean, version. But anyway, that the Signed, Sealed, Delivered song was in that movie, and I just started laughing when I heard it. I was like, here we go.
Yep.
Now we're talking.
Yep.
Oh man. The cookie decorating class. What did you think of that?
That was cute.
It really was adorable.
My mom and I had been planning to go to one over the holiday, but we didn't make it. But maybe next year. I think it was for sugar cookies, like a sugar cookie decorating class or something.
Yeah. We got together at my dad's girlfriend's house. She had baked cookies, and like it was mainly for the kids, but all of us decorated cookies. It was fun. And ironically, as Julia, I did snowflakes. So
yeah.
Oh man. Then after the class, Julia discusses her plan to increase sales. She tells them that they need to come up with new desserts to draw people in, something to make them stand out from the new bakery in town. Mr. and Mrs. Weaver. What did you think of them?
They were sweet. I liked them.
They were so cute.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I really liked them.
Mm-hmm.
I really got lost in my notes.
Oh, it's fine.
I don't even know where we are. Sorry.
We're still on the first page of the conversation with Mr. Weaver.
Okay.
It's still pretty close to the top of the page. I don't know, maybe about halfway down the page. Y'all can tell we really have this together, okay? We're like 3 hours late trying to record this from what we had originally.
Sorry about that, y'all. I'm like totally unprofessional right now.
You're good. You're good.
Okay, I found it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So in the conversation with Mr. Weaver, the owner of the B&B that she is staying at, Julia gets the idea to have various gingerbread themed desserts for each of the 12 days leading up to Christmas, the 12 treats of Christmas. And this is the dialogue. Do we just want to read back and forth?
If you would like, yeah.
Sure. I guess I could be Julia. You want to be Chris?
Okay. It's probably just gonna be every other person because this is all of them here.
Yeah.
So in this conversation, Chris says, "You're a very determined lady, aren't you?"
I am.
And I am excited.
Me too.
And then they kind of discuss some of the different ideas, different treats that they could come up with. And Julia says, "Where do we start?"
The kitchen.
Yeah, I love that line. He's like, the kitchen, like.
Yeah.
And then we see them working in the kitchen. And I loved when Abby told Julia, they're talking about, going outside. And she says, "You're allowed to take a break. My teacher says it's good for mental health." Like, it is. It really is. Like, I was listening to this video before we started recording. And this lady was saying, stop trying to put 100% into everything because you as a whole are only 100%. So if you're trying to give everything you do 100%, you're working at a deficit. And I was like, okay, that actually kind of makes sense,
Yeah.
But they decide to play Snow Wars.
Yeah.
And they walk outside. And you remember, all the tunnel, like the whole little, they had a little like fort, I guess, built out there or whatever. And Julia says, "Wow, you built all of this together." Chris says, "Well, Abby's the designer. I'm more of a worker bee."
Yep. And then they have the Snow Wars game, and Chris hits Julia in the face with a snowball. Snowball fights are fun, but not when you get hit in the face.
Yeah, I love how he's just like, uh-oh.
That kind of reminds me of Wes's character Jared in Haul Out the Holly when, oh gosh, what is the character's name? Ned throws a snowball and it like hits his glasses.
Yes. Also,
that snow fell apart so easily. That had to be fake snow right there.
Yeah. Also in I'm drawing a blank on the name of the movie. You and I recapped it on Swing My Heart, but Jill and Cameron's movie.
Merry Christmas Wish.
Yes. When she threw the snowball at him to get his attention when he was on the tractor. Oh my word. Yes.
You want some eggs? You want some?
Yeah. Oh man. What? A lot of good laughs this year for sure.
Oh.
My word. So after the snowball fight, Julia, I almost said the wrong name. Julia admits that she is exhausted from that. That was quite a workout, and they decide to pick back up with the brainstorming the next morning rather than continuing to work into the night. Julia's publisher tells her that they need the finalized copy of her cookbook in 10 days, instead of getting the extended deadline they thought they had. Julia tells her to give her 12 days and she will have the recipe, because obviously we're dealing with the 12 treats of Christmas, so the 12 days leading up to Christmas. So she's like, all right, if you'll give me 12 days, I'll have it, because the deal was, he would give her the recipe if she increased their sales by 50%. Let's see. Oh, I thought it was funny when we see Julia and Chris working in the kitchen. And she says, well, we got our first 7 days covered. We're in pretty good shape. We could come back to this as the event goes along. And Chris says, thank you. I haven't eaten this much sugar since I was a kid, and I make desserts for a living.
I had a lot of sugar over the Christmas holiday.
Oh, I'll bet.
Like when one of my cousins and I were making sugar cookies the day of the cooling tray debacle.
Oh, yes.
And the burning of the cookies. On top of that, we had like I had 4 cookies that day. Because we were making sure that they tasted good. So, and they weren't burnt.
Yeah. Oh, my word.
I was like 1, 2, 3.
I can't say anything. I would have probably eaten more than that. So.
Well, 1, we messed up, or 1 or 2, we messed up the icing, and we were just like, we're not going to keep this one, so let's just go ahead and eat it.
Yeah. Yeah. We see Julia going around hanging posters in store windows, and she learns that Chris lost his wife a few years ago, and she also gets the idea to do a radio ad.
Which is clever.
Yeah.
Because we don't see that in a lot of the Christmas movies.
Not really much anymore, no. I feel like maybe we saw it in a couple of the, and this wasn't even an ad necessarily, but I feel like we've seen radio used in a couple of the mysteries.
Yeah, there was, Allison did that mystery series with Benjamin Ayers, Chronicle Mysteries, which was about a podcast. She had her own podcast.
Yeah.
And Tyler did a movie, I think, with Julie Gonzalo. Can't remember the name of it. It was a fall movie. And I think she worked for a radio station. It might have been Falling for You, I think was the title.
Yeah, it happens occasionally, but it's not one of the more common.
Yeah. And then there was one a couple years ago. What was it called? I'm drawing a blank on the name. Project Christmas Wish, I think, was the name, and it had it has Travis Van Winkle and Amanda Schull, and she worked for a radio station. What?
You are way better at this than I am.
I almost forgot the name of that one, but it was good. That one was a good one.
Yeah. So I see Julia waiting out the weather for a short time at Chris's house, and they discussed her mom and why his recipe is so important to her. Of course, because of the memories. When they start their 12 days of Christmas thing, and Mr. Weaver points out that stressed backwards is desserts. So if you eat a bunch of desserts, you'll never be stressed.
That's clever, yes.
Yeah. I'm not sure it's accurate as far as relieving the stress part, but it's funny.
Eating a bunch of desserts would make you sick.
Yes.
If you did it all at one time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Their walk.
I loved that. That was one of my favorite scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, I'm in the middle of yawning.
No, you're
Sorry.
good.
Or stayed up a little too late last night.
Join the club. Y'all, it feels like we have been going non-stop everything lately, and somehow or another we're staying behind. I don't know how this is supposed to work. I really don't. While they go for a walk, they being Chris and Julia, go for a walk to take a break, and they discuss his wife, Alice, and how special this recipe is to his family. We also find out that Chris went to high school with the local TV weatherman, and the camera operator is his second cousin.
Yep.
Um,
This line made me laugh when he says, I had a feeling the fudge might be a tough sell.
Yeah. And then she says, the fudge is delicious and decadent. Don't doubt the fudge.
Yeah.
I feel like that should be a t-shirt. Don't doubt the fudge. I don't know why. That just seems like a t-shirt.
Would we need copyrights for that? Because we should make that.
I don't know. I mean, it's not a full line, so I don't know. They have a little more conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have a little more conversation, and Chris says, you're just full of surprises. She said, there's a method to my madness. He says, oh, don't worry. I've been taking notes ever since you walked in here. So yeah, you're definitely seeing some tension building between them at this point.
Let's just talk about those 12 days of gingerbread. We have gingerbread macaroons, gingerbread vanilla fudge, mini gingerbread mousse cups, local maple syrup. That's not gingerbread, but I guess it has gingerbread in it.
No, it's the mini gingerbread mousse cups with local maple syrup.
Okay, yeah. Okay, sorry. I read that wrong. Foam art gingerbread lattes. Gingerbread cheesecake.
I have no clue what that was supposed to be. I just wrote down what it looked like. But cheesecake would probably make more sense.
That would be my guess. Cheesecake squares. Gingerbread cupcakes. Gingerbread cake pops. Gingerbread donuts. Gingerbread creme brulee tarts.
What is creme brulee?
It's a dessert. It's a French dessert. I had it a long time ago, and I can't remember what's inside, but like the top is roasted, kind of like you roast marshmallows. Like they bring, like it's roasted with one of those tools that has the fire that comes out. I don't know what it's called, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It's really good, by the way. I haven't had it in a long time, but creme brulee is really good.
Okay.
So for anyone that hasn't tried creme brulee, definitely give it a try.
Yeah.
Gingerbread cinnamon buns with cream cheese frosting. Gingerbread pudding with sticky miso caramel sauce. And we don't have day 12 yet.
Out of those,
that's a lot of gingerbread.
It is. I feel like out of those, what I would be most likely to want to try would be the donuts, the gingerbread donuts, and the gingerbread cinnamon buns with cream cheese frosting.
Yeah, actually, I feel like I've had gingerbread donuts, maybe. But I can't remember for sure. I don't know. But those would be good to try. Also, I'm curious to know what gingerbread macaroons taste like. I've had macaroons, but not gingerbread.
Yeah. I don't know.
Let us know what y'all would pick.
Yeah. Or
a different
idea. What would you come
Yeah.
up with for if you were trying to come up with a gingerbread dessert?
Yeah. Maybe
I don't know.
let us know and we can try them out next year. Maybe we could have a Christmas game night next year and try them on camera.
Oh, that would be fun. Yeah, we planned to do a Christmas game night this year, and that did not end up happening. Too much going on.
Yeah.
Oh, my word. So we didn't have the 12th day on the menu board yet, but Chris suggests a gingerbread cookie sandwich with cream cheese filling for the treat for day 12. I'm picturing kind of like an oatmeal cream pie, except it's gingerbread instead of oatmeal cookies. It's kind of what I get in my mind.
Yeah, that would be good, maybe. I always have liked the oatmeal cream pies. I think from Little Debbie, I think was the company.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe unpopular opinion here. I like gingerbread, but I tire of it very quickly.
I can see that. It's not my favorite thing, but I do like it.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I like occasionally, but it's not something that I can have a lot of and not get tired of it.
I normally just have gingerbread at Christmas.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way with eggnog. I enjoy it.
I haven't had eggnog in a long time.
Yeah.
But it's good.
It is. Yeah. It's just one of those things that I can't do a lot of it without getting tired of it.
I forgot the taste of it. Like, I forgot what it tastes like. I haven't had it in so long.
Well, I've never had like homemade eggnog, but
No,
to me,
I haven't either.
what
No.
you get like from the grocery store or
Yeah.
whatever. This sounds weird, but it's always, and this is not accurate, but I don't know what else to describe that it always puts me in mind of. For some reason, it always puts me in mind of bubble gum, and I don't know why. Like, that sounds totally stupid. I don't understand.
It's not stupid.
I don't know. Julia suggests that Chris uses his connections at the TV station to get a spot and advertise their last day of treats on television.
Yep. I love when Chris says, I feel like I'm right back at the radio station, except this time I don't have a script. And Julia says, want to practice? And Chris says, yeah, that'll help.
Yeah. I love when she tells him, just remember, when in doubt, speak from the heart.
Speak from the heart. Yep. That's always good advice.
And he gives her the gingerbread recipe.
Yes.
How romantic. She says, but what if we don't get the numbers we're hoping for tomorrow? He says, I thought about that. For everything you've done for my business, my family, it's the least I can do.
Yeah.
And then while he is doing his television spot, she gets an odd text and a phone call with her chef, AJ, at her restaurant that convinces her she needs to return to Chicago immediately. And she also gets a call from her publisher with a deadline crunch and a meeting the next morning in Chicago.
Which seals the deal.
That she is headed back to Chicago the next morning. Irene overhears part of the conversation. They discuss Chris and the recipe, and this is when Julia finds out that part of the reason this recipe is so special to him is because he and his wife and daughter used to make these cookies together all the time. So it's kind of a tie to his wife.
Yeah.
That stack of letters that she gives Julia.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you knew she was responsible. The entire movie, you knew the mom was going to be responsible.
Yep.
But still, it was just, I was not expecting this connection. So I will honestly say.
Yeah.
How cute was Chris? Like, literally, like, his sentences were running together so bad when he was trying to tell Julia how he was feeling. Like he's just blabbering on and on and on.
Yeah. I love that. He's a great actor.
Yannick is an incredible actor. I absolutely loved seeing him in this role.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, while he is trying to tell Julia how he feels about her, she breaks the news to him that she has to leave the next day. She apologizes and tells him it's not her choice, but he thinks that now that she has the recipe, that's all she was there for, and she has no reason to stay.
Boo.
I don't know. The thing I hate about movies is nobody listens to anybody.
Communication.
Right? Like I'm an over communicator because I see too many problems arise from not communicating enough. I'm an over communicator. Like, oh my word. Yes. We mentioned Mr. and Mrs. Weaver earlier, but I really loved the friendship that she
Yeah.
was so sweet. And I love that when she checked out to head back home to Chicago, that Vicky ended up following her out and was like, do you want to talk about it? You know, like kind of being a mother figure to her. I thought was super sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we get the big reveal when Irene finally admits to Chris that she's the one who sent the cookies to Julia and that she was pen pals with Julia's mom, Evelyn. They were in a cookbook exchange club together. Their gingerbread recipe is just a few tweaks different than Julia's mother's recipe. Which I will be honest, I'm kind of, at that point, I was expecting her, like in those letters or whatever, and knowing that she basically just tweaked Evelyn's recipe, I was kind of expecting us to end up with the original recipe.
Yeah, me too.
But we didn't, which is fine. That's just kind of what I was expecting at this point. And Irene says, you know, when I was in that cookbook club with Evelyn, I was able to share a recipe with somebody. It made me so happy. I mean, if you can share something you love with somebody you care about, it just brings up a whole new level of joy. I mean, look at Abby. What have you been teaching her all these years that it feels good to share? And Chris says, why didn't you tell me all of this from the start? Irene says, oh, sweetie, I love you, but you can be really stubborn. Also, I've noticed that you're a lot happier coming into the shop lately. And isn't that all that matters at the end of the day? So what are you going to do now? And he says, I don't know. I have this whole 12th day of treats I have to make. She says, I mean about Julia. And then Abby pipes up and says, Dad, you're not perfect either, you know. And he says, have you been standing there this whole time? And she's just like
so cute.
I know, she was adorable.
Yeah.
And Irene says, well, you may not be perfect, but you're allowed to be happy again. Alice would have wanted that. And Abby says, I think so too. And Chris says, so maybe I can still catch her? And Irene's like, yeah. So he goes after her, but he's too late.
Yeah.
She has already checked out of the B&B. Although I have to admit, I did think it was hilarious when he's trying to get Mr. Weaver's attention and Mr. Weaver has on like a headset or something, listening to music.
I know Kung Fu. Everybody was Kung Fu fighting.
Oh my gosh. So funny. Oh my word. So Julia calls AJ on her way back to Chicago. And they're talking about the text that he sent her. And he said, that was supposed to say, good idea, have fun. I really need to learn how to one-handed text. And she says, but when you called, you said something about a fire. And he says, fire? What did you hear? Geez, it was just a busy night at the restaurant, okay? You know how chaotic it gets. So she was freaking out for nothing, of course. And then she decides to turn around and go back.
Yay.
Yes. And she's at the bakery when Chris gets back.
Yeah.
Would you like to read some of the dialogue there?
Sure.
Okay.
She says, as I was driving back to Chicago, I heard our ad and it made me realize something. When you say at your bakery, everyone feels at home. I never realized it before, but that's what I've been searching for this whole time. It wasn't the cookie or the recipe that I wanted. It was those happy memories I had as a kid with my mom. It was a feeling of home, and you and Abby and Irene helped me find that feeling again. I'm so sorry for leaving things the way that we did. And I came back to tell you, I will call my publisher right now and tell her not to include the gingerbread if you're not comfortable with it. Because I would rather lose it than lose you and Abby.
And Chris says, you don't have to do that. Truth be told, yeah, I didn't want to share the recipe with you because of how special it is to me. But then I also didn't want to share it with you because I didn't want you to leave. Last night, when you told me you had to go and I had just given you the recipe, I thought you were running away. But that's got nothing to do with you. That's all me. And I was reminded that sharing baking recipes is what makes them so enjoyable. When you experience something with someone you love, your family, the whole town, that's what makes it special. And I had forgotten that till I met you. You're an incredible person, Julia. I couldn't have done any of this without you.
Really?
Really.
I think you're pretty incredible too, Chris.
And then they finally kiss. Yay!
Yeah.
And Irene walks in.
Perfect timing.
We were watching an episode of Mystery 101 the other day, and they were like out on her porch and they were talking about timing.
Oh, was this the second to last one?
I think maybe so, yes.
Because they're standing on the porch and they kiss.
And her dad calls.
Yeah, about her uncle.
Yes.
Yes, that's the second to last one.
Yes. Oh my word.
What was it? Killer Timing is the name of that one.
Okay. I didn't get to see the whole thing. I had gotten that for my dad for Christmas, like that last set for him for Christmas, and he was watching it, and I happened to come in on that last little bit. But
can we please get another one somehow, some way? Because that cliffhanger was horrible. Please.
I haven't even seen it, but I've heard about it, and yeah, I can't believe they did that.
For the love, can we please get another Mystery 101?
Oh my word. For real though.
Whether it's on,
got to stop doing this.
Whether it's on Great American Family, Hallmark, I don't care. We need another one.
Yes, we do.
Like they left that one.
There's no way they could have intended that to be the end of the series, though.
No, they had another one. I think the next one was already written.
And then Jill moved to Great American Family.
Why? Why? Hallmark messed around and they didn't renew it.
Oh, my word.
Right when they could, and then she got busy with her new show, I think, Lioness, and moved to Great American Family.
Yeah. Oh, word.
Anyway, we got way off track.
It's fine. It's fine. It's what we do. It's all good. But anyway, so Irene ends up interrupting the kiss, and she says, I'm sorry for interrupting. I just think the two of you are going to want to see this. So they walk out to the front of the bakery, and it is full of customers. And Julia's like, what's the population here again?
Okay, I have to mention this one. Julia, I wanted to say it's a Christmas miracle, but
And Irene says, what it is a lot of hard work paying off.
My dad and me couldn't have done this without you, Julia.
And that was Abby. And then Julia
Yeah.
says, oh, ditto. And then Irene.
Well, what about Nana? Doesn't she get any credit?
Yeah. So cute.
Yeah.
Conversation between Julia and Chris that Julia called her publisher. Yep. And the publisher sent her the files to approve before printing, so she doesn't have to go back to Chicago.
Yay.
Yes. And Julia says, ready to get started? Chris says, almost. She says, almost. He said, just kind of take care of one more thing. And he kisses her again, which is interrupted by Abby hugging them both. And she says, yay, I knew it. Chris says, shall we get started? And
let's do this.
Yep.
The kiss,
end. And
the kiss,
scene.
Yep. The kiss interrupted by Abby reminds me of a couple other movies where it's either the female lead or like child or the male lead's child.
Mm-hmm.
And they kiss and then they get interrupted by
the
hug. I think one in particular that I can remember right off the bat is A Cookie Cutter Christmas with David Hayden Jones and Aaron Krakow, because Janaea played his daughter, and at the end, like, they kiss and then she runs up and gives him up.
Yeah, I think it's sweet when they do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. Like I said, I personally loved this movie. It was really good to see Yannick in this role.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed seeing Corey in a lead role.
Yes.
I see her in a couple of productions this year.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's hard to, because this is not a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of trying to go, okay, off of like, because there was a couple of things production-wise in this movie that I felt like could have been better, but nothing major.
I'd give it 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I was thinking out of 10, like an 8.5 to a 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
is kind of where I'm leaning.
Yeah, and out of 10, about the same.
Yeah. Definitely the draw to me for this one was Yannick being in it, because of course I love him as Jack and as Martin.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm really glad that I took the time to watch this one.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anything else you want to say about this one before we
end the episode? That's about it.
Awesome.
It's a good movie.
It really was. It really was. Well, guys, thank you for listening. We'll be back with one more episode where we talk about some of the Christmas movies from this past year, and then we will be moving on to
the winter movies.
Films. Yes, to the winter movies, which I'm super excited about. But let us know what some of your favorite Christmas movies have been, if you've seen this movie. We'd love to hear from you. But we love you guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back again soon. Bye.
Bye.